Neil Oliver, wow, this is one heck of a movement, and surely it must be a wake-up call to politicians here in the UK.
Well, you would think so. What's extraordinary, amongst much else, is the extent to which it's being overlooked by so much of the mainstream media. As you say, these are mass popular movements involving thousands of people. We see it in Sri Lanka, but we also see unrest in the Netherlands, in Italy, in Germany, in Poland, in Albania, elsewhere, but mostly overlooked. You would think it would be some kind of a wake-up call for politicians in the countries in question, but I suspect although they hear it, although they can possibly smell the smoke of approaching fire, the extent to which they can do anything about it, I think it's minimal, because I don't think they're making their own decisions about their own countries. I think they're doing what they're told by others in the banks and so on. What happened in Sri Lanka was a product of that government following the madness of WEF-inspired policies, net zero, the stripping out of fertilizers and all the rest of it, which, as you said in your introduction, led to wholesale strife, collapsing crops and all the rest of it. But you would think, in a sane world, the politicians in each of the countries would respond to the people, but I suspect they won't. We saw something similar in Canada with the truckers' freedom convoys, but look what happened there. Obviously, Justin Trudeau was told to get a grip of that situation. He clamped down on it violently, arrested bank accounts, and took away the funding for that movement. It's a very interesting one to watch. I'm glad you're covering it. I've been paying attention to it also. But I think it's
the most important story internationally over the weekend, I think, Neil. And it's fascinating, isn't it, to see the MSM ignore it until they no longer can. And it reached that tipping point in Sri Lanka.
Well, yes, those were absolutely extraordinary pictures of that movement. There were so many people, and the shots were from such a distance, it was like ants, I thought, moving towards that presidential palace in Colombo. But then, amazingly, really, what happened around that pool, the presidential pool, which was obviously the people's pool, because it's their presidential palace, but it looked incredibly peaceful. And I think that that's a testament to the reality of what's actually going on there. But it's so interesting to watch. Yes, it's been completely overlooked by the mainstream media. They're still not paying attention to what's happening in Europe, but it will get to a point where it cannot be ignored.